Reyna Montoya is the founder and executive director of Aliento, an organization that invests in the leadership and the well-being of undocumented youth and children. And she was just named to the prestigious Forbes Top 30 Under 30 list in the social entrepreneurs category of people who are leveraging smart businesses to save the world. Reyna, by the way, is also a DACA recipient. With us right now, Reyna Montoya. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Tell us how it felt to be named one of the top 30 business women in social activism in America.
I mean, it's definitely an honor, and it's such a privilege to be recognized for so many years of work. And definitely this is something that I owe it to my parents and to my community for believing in me and for believing in our vision.
You're 27 years old. You were originally born in Mexico, I know. Tell us about your background and your immigration experience here in America.
I was born in Tijuana, Mexico, and at the age of 10, my mom picked me up at school. I used to go to Catholic school in Mexico, and one day she just comes, picks me up, and tells me to grab my backpack, and we actually started migrating. And at that moment, I didn't know, but we were fleeing violence after my dad had been kidnapped. So there was a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. My mom, my little brother, and I came with tourist visas. So we had a peaceful transition, and then we settled in Mesa, Arizona.
So, all right, so you came as 10 years old with visitor's visas, and you've been living here ever since for the last 17 years, basically out of status until President Obama gave the DACA program in 2012, correct?
Yeah, basically I ran out of status and I was undocumented, grew up undocumented, went to junior high, high school, college, until in 2012 after I graduated from Arizona State University. That's when I was able to obtain a legal presence. So
now you started Aliento. How does your organization help other youth?
So Aliento translates into English to breath. But we at Aliento, when you give Aliento to someone, it's like giving encouragement.
Right.
So we work predominantly with undocumented youth, DACA recipients, and children in mixed status families. What does that mean? That means that basically there can be children who are U.S. citizen, and then they have one or two parents who are undocumented. So we predominantly work with that population to provide a leadership development, but also to create a safe space where we are able to explore through art and really be able to heal all these traumatic experiences that we're facing.
How does it work in the process?
Yeah, so we have arts and healing workshops that we have them at the Aliento office, and people can come in. We have it in a multi-generational setting. So we start as a big group, and then we divide children, youth, and parents, and they're able to express their feelings and their anxieties and fears and hopes through art. And they're able to do it through painting, through dance, through music.
Wow, that's amazing. And where are you located? Where is this building located? Is it all over America? Is it in certain cities? Is it in one city?
We are located in Mesa, Arizona, and we also run different campaigns. So that's one bucket of our work. We also do, we are right now currently working on a campaign called Vote for Dream, where we're taking people not only from Arizona, but from different states to Washington, D.C. to be advocating for themselves.
So how do you get funded for all of this? But not only how did you get funded for this, how did you as an undocumented immigrant, or maybe then at that point a DACA recipient, convince some, I guess, organization or multiple organizations to donate what I assume is millions of dollars to this program? Was that like a daunting task? What did you do? How did you know to do this?
It was really challenging, a lot of failing, a lot of asking around and receiving guidance, but a lot of hustle. I think that's something that I really learned from my dad, is that if you don't have a pathway forward, how do you hustle and make sure you get it done? So I started learning how to do pitch decks, how to do pitches. I started writing grants and just knocking on doors. And if one door would close, I would just go and knock another 3 and see what would happen.
So are you free to tell us who is funding this? Is there a specific organization, or are you getting small grants from many people? How How do you keep your doors open, the lights on, and how do you let people know that these programs exist, which is an amazing program?
Yes, definitely. I was able to start it through like a social justice fellowship. So it works that you're able to pitch an idea, a project that you have, and then you have to compete throughout the whole nation about who would be the fellows that would get funded for their projects. And that really enabled me to be full-time and just get started back in 2016. And then later on, I applied for Echoing Green, which funds social innovators, and they have funded people like Michelle Obama, Van Jones, Wendy Coop from
Right.
Teach for America. So I was able to apply for that, which is a worldwide fellowship that funds social entrepreneurs. And I was able to get some seed funding to take it to the next level. And we also do a lot of grassroots organizing. Like for us, it's not only that we're giving back to the community, but we are part of an ecosystem. So then we receive donations for our arts and everything.
So that's some company you're in with Michelle Obama, who has also got grants from these same organizations. How many children do you help in a month or in a year? How many people come through your doors?
Yeah, in a year we have been able to engage about, I would say through our workshops and trainings, about 300 people. And then we have, because we also have another component where we train educators and allies how to better support these children and these youth. And we have trained over 6,000 people over a year.
And what are some of the fears? You have children, I guess, all ages, who fear deportation, just like you. What are some of the universal fears that you're hearing from these children, concerns, anxieties that you're hearing?
I think definitely something that has been really impactful is being able to see through the art how many children draw pictures of their moms and parents behind bars, and then they might not know the immigration terms, but they have this feeling of not knowing if they're going to be able to see their mom or their dad ever again. So I think that something that is really evident, but something that personally I have witnessed is also the beautiful transformation of transforming something so painful into something so beautiful. So they also draw landscapes of hope where they're able to paint a picture about what would it look like, a world, a community, without having to have those fears and anxieties.
You're a DACA recipient. You know, Trump says it's over March 6th. They're trying to negotiate something. Most of the life that you remember is here as an American. You were educated here in America. Have you given thought to what would you do if you got deported? Where would you go? Where would you live? What do you think about people who are educated here in America, who are giving so much back to America like yourself? How does that make you feel being told by Donald Trump you're not welcome?
That's a loaded question.
That's a lot of questions, yeah.
Very hard to just imagine that, you've been trying to pay it forward. I was able to receive a public education from the Arizona schools, and then for me it was about how can I give back. I have received so much that is my moral responsibility to give back to my community. And now that I feel that I'm doing that I created my own business, I'm employing people, I have a mortgage to pay, right? I'm 27, I'm not a child anymore. Right. And just thinking about all these things and knowing that everything can be taken away in one day or in a blink of an eye. So it's definitely something that gives me nightmares at night, that keeps me up at night. But at the same time, I know that at the end of the day, I do believe that there's people who support us. There's like over 80% of the American public that are on our side. So for me, it's that people need to see what's happening, and people really need to acknowledge what's at stake. And that at the end of the day, we're actually pleading other citizens to pick up the phone, to call their members of Congress, to visit them, and to let them know that this is something that they're not going to stand by.
Well, I think you are an amazing woman that you can do all of this and have still the politics against you, organized not only as a minority, Latina woman, not only as a woman, not only as a young woman, but a young undocumented woman, to have reached such a level to be nominated, and not only nominated, but win one of the best 30 social activists under the age of 30. it is going over above and beyond hurdles that are put in front of you that others who are born here don't have. So I commend you, and it's fabulous work that you're doing, and of course we're praying not only for you but for all the DACA people that it turns out to be a happy story at the end. We'll see what happens, unfortunately.
Thank you so much, and I really hope that this serves as a beacon of hope for many other undocumented youth across the nation, knowing that they're not alone and that we will persevere because we are in the right side of history.
All right, thank you for joining us.